All right, welcome back to Waste Some Time with Jason Green. I am Jason Green, bringing you brand new interviews right here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, sign up, join the membership, all those things in the description. Today, a guest I'm really excited about. I've wanted to have Ronnie YOUNKINS of KIX on for quite some time. We've had Steve Whiteman on, and we've had Brian Forsythe. Jimmy said he would rather not do interviews. He said, let the other guys talk. And I've wanted to have Ronnie on to talk about what's been going on in his life. But it was really a matter of finding the best time and being sensitive and not exploitive to his sometimes public addiction and recovery. So now's a good time. He's got things going on to talk about, and I think good stuff to share with everybody. KIX is scheduled to play their final show ever after 40 plus years, September 17th in Columbia, Maryland. Will Ronnie be part of that final show? Well, we're going to find out all that and more right after this. Just wanna waste some time with you. Sometimes it seems too good to be true. Nobody out there can waste time with you. All right, please welcome Ronnie YOUNKINS.
Hello there. Hey,
Jason. Ronnie. As I said in the intro, I'm so glad to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. You've been through a lot. It's a little over 2 years since you played your last show with KIX, right?
That's right. Yeah, last show I played with the band was in November of 2020. It's been a while. Yeah.
And go ahead.
Yeah, I just talked with Steve Whiteman a couple days ago, and Brian, and Bob first, the guitar player that took my place, and yeah, they've asked me to join them for a few songs at the last show on September 17th at Merriweather Post Pavilion in Columbia, Maryland. So grateful they asked. It was good to talk with them. I mean, I've been in touch with them through the last couple of years, off and on, and text and phone conversations, whatnot. But yeah, I mean, so it's not like I haven't talked to them previously, but yeah, this has all come about in the last 2 weeks, I think, Jason. The last couple of weeks, this has all happened. So it's a good thing.
You played the M3 festival with a pre-party with your band, the Blues Vultures. So you were there. KIX then played a couple nights later. You didn't stick around.
No, it's we played on a Friday night at the pre-party, and then played on the Sunday night. Usually we would play on Friday. I think they played last year on a Saturday. So they've changed it around a bit each year, depending on the bands that they have. And I think a couple of years they had it Friday night. We would play last. It would start like 5 o'clock, and then Saturday would run all day. Sunday would run all day, but this year it was just, I believe, the pre-party and then Saturday and Sunday. So that's what happened.
Were you aware of the final show? Did they tell you before they made the announcement?
I've kind of seen it coming. I kind of knew that just from talking to Steve like a year and a half ago, when I knew that I think he was getting to the point where he questioning how much he wanted to go on. And then with Jimmy, I think everyone knows that poor Jimmy's had some heart issues, and I think that has really nobody wants him to pass away on stage. And I mean, he came close to it in November of 2022 at the Talio Theater. I mean, I wasn't there, but the guitar tech is my good friend, Brand, texted me the next morning and told me what happened, that Jimmy collapsed on the drum kit after his solo, probably on Cold Blood, probably one of the last the night. And then Steve texted me right after that, and he was just horrified. That Jimmy's his brother. I mean, those guys are real tight, and it was hard for him. And when I talked to him the other day, he said it was tough to see that. I'm not trying to talk it down by any means. It's serious, and we're all glad he's alive, of course. And yeah, but he's played a couple shows. He's like, I've said this before. He's like the Energizer Bunny. Jimmy keeps going. So I think I haven't talked to him yet. Call him. Um, but we've texted in the last year, "Hey, happy birthday," we text like, "Happy Merry Christmas," that kind of thing. Um, um, but I knew that he was going through some cardio rehabilitation, and I, I know Jimmy, he doesn't stop. So I think he played the full Merriweather show. I think he did some songs on the Monsters of Rock cruise.
Yeah, I saw him. I saw him on the cruise. It was so great. Even if he just played a couple songs, it was great to see him because, as you mentioned, a lot of people thought we wouldn't see him again. You can. There was video of him going down. Thankful that the guys, Mark and they knew CPR and were able to really help and save his life.
Yeah,
So yeah, and so to see him on that cruise was great. To see that he still wanted to be involved and that he liked to see it. And you could get the sense, as you said, that maybe KIX was thinking about winding down. Um,
right.
so, as I said, 40 something years. You when you were playing as Shoes and on to Generator, this is 1977. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think Donnie and I played together December of '76 with a
Wow.
couple different guys that he had been playing with, and then I think around March of '77 we started playing with Brian. When the other two guys that we were working with didn't work out just because of distance, and we at that time we didn't have any money, so we couldn't afford these guys that lived in Pittsburgh, which is really not that far. 150 miles is a lot back when you don't have much money for keeping people. And I mean, I was living on my girlfriend's couch. Donnie was living in a small place. We just couldn't keep the guys from Pittsburgh with us. So we started. I told Donnie, "I know a great guitar player." So we ended up going in Brian's basement and started Shoes with a drummer that I'd played with, Donnie Spence, and we had a singer named Terry Brady who sang with us. He had played in a couple of Donnie's bands with Donnie and Jimmy in our teens. So that's how it all started.
Yeah.
Yeah, long time ago.
Long time, lot of history. I had Brian on the show. He was talking about running into you guys at a 7-Eleven in
Uh-huh.
Maryland. Yeah. I
Yeah,
said they should make that the KIX. They should put a plaque outside. It's the KIX 7-Eleven.
yeah. Brian was. I left a band that was just playing cover songs, and I was making money and traveling, but I just couldn't keep doing it. I just turned 20 years old, and I was like, and I heard these songs Donnie playing with these guys from Pittsburgh, and I was like seeing tunes, and I was like, oh man, these songs are really good. So I'd always wanted to be in a band with Donnie and Jim. They had the best bands in the area. And so when his band split up, they were called Jax. I got a hold of him. And a couple of guys in Jax were the guys I was talking about. So we played together a few times. I remember the first song I played with Donnie was Atomic Bombs on my old Strat, and I dug it. And but when those guys in Pittsburgh didn't work out, I didn't want to let it go. So I told Donnie, I said, "No, great guitar player, and we'll figure the rest out as it goes along," which we did. And then a couple years later, Steve, and then Jimmy. And for a while, Jimmy played with Donnie. Uh, got him with us, and it was a godsend. So that's how it began. A long,
Yeah.
long
Humble beginnings. I have to ask, even though I think I know the answer, does anyone speak to Donnie?
No. Um, I don't think he likes us too much. It's a long story. I don't know if I want to get into it, but he does not like us. It's kind of sad. I mean, I have the utmost respect and appreciation to and for him. Um, but I believe that I think it was because after KIX split up with Donnie in 96, 95, 6, Steve went on to form his own band. I moved to Los Angeles, made a record out there, and got my first day job ever, um, other than working with my dad when I was a teenager. But when I came back here, family reasons, my mom and dad, um, I came back to Maryland and put a band together, Blues Vultures. So we started opening shows with Funny Money, Steve's band. And Funny Money, Steve could sing the songs, obviously, played some KIX songs. And I don't think Donnie agreed very much. Especially, Donnie was talking to up until Blues Vultures up for Funny Money one night. And Steve asked me to go play a couple KIX songs. So I did. Well, Donnie saw a picture of me playing with Steve, and he called bass player in the Blues Vaults. He used to be one of our sound men in KIX. He was not happy about it. I mean, I was just, I don't know, playing his songs because they're great songs. I say,
Yeah, songs that people want to hear
yeah,
and parts of your lives as well. From the
right.
other guys' accounts, he didn't sound like he was always the most pleasant guy to work with, especially maybe towards the end. So, as far as the final show goes, I don't think he'll be there. Is what I'm getting at.
No, I don't think he'll be there. He's invited, but I don't believe he'll show up.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, that's a nice thing to put it out there. It is, some people have said that this is going to be like Kiss, and Kicks will be back a million times. I don't think so.
I don't think so either, honestly. Um, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
I could see, maybe a cause comes up, and maybe there's a reason to play a song. Who knows? That's a long way off. But after 40 something years, we're looking at the last lineup that you played with. Um, yeah, sometimes it's time to call it a day,
Yeah.
especially for Steve.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And,
and Jimmy's health. You'll
mm,
continue to play music. Obviously, we've talked about the Blues Vultures. Brian will continue to play music. He has Rhino Bucket.
yes. And I'll continue to play. I love playing. It's a passion of mine. I just, you know, I can't put a guitar down. I time with my son and my daughter, my wife, and as soon as I come back, I live right next door to my family. As soon as I get here in this house, I have a guitar in my hand, working on some songs. So, and if I'm not at practice, Vultures, I'm always working on. I still learn licks. I still learn stuff from Hendrix, Jimmy Page, Joe Perry, my the guys that I love listening to, and the list goes on. But I also absorb it. And, been writing a new record. I have 9 new songs on an album. They're not done yet. However, the bass track is done, and I've done vocals on songs. Rich sang one. He's the other guitarist. But in the guitar world now for those songs, I'm doing the solos. Rich is doing some of the solos, and it's guitars, keyboards, back vocals, and bass. Now is where we're at with it. So I'm hoping to have the year. But yeah, it's a passion. I got to keep playing. I would just, wouldn't feel right not to.
Mhm.
I just would not be happy.
Yeah, I can imagine. Most important thing of anything we talk about is that you're 2 years and 77 days sober today, and that is everything else, the headlines that might be with kicks and those things. Your sobriety is the most important, and as I said,
Right.
it's been a public thing for you at times. You know, this has been a constant a battle for you.
Um, it's not always, but I mean, it's constantly in me. In that I know I'm an alcoholic, I'm an addict. I have the isms. I was born this way. I manifested it through the years. And just past 2 years and 79 days.
Mhm.
I, I I have to be accountable for the amount of time because it means a lot to me. Um, and I take it seriously, my recovery, because it has affected everyone around me and myself. Um, it's affected my wife, my children, the guys and the guys in the Blues Vultures, friends, and it's affected me. It's I At one point in my life I did not drink or use for 21 years.
That's right.
Uh, Sober and cleaned up when I was 32. I started using when I was 14, drinking and using, and it got ugly by 24. And I didn't get to do the second record. I was away for 6 months, and not knowing about AA and the 12 program, not knowing about it, I stopped doing the hard drugs, just drank and smoked pot about 4 or 5 years. Only turned back to hard drugs and ended up at a rehab when I was 32. And going through that rehab, I came out and did everything that I was told, suggested, everything that I knew to do. And I stayed sober and clean for 21 years until some prescription drugs high. And it led me back out to illegal drugs and and consequences that surmounted far beyond whatever happened before in my life. Um, it was just it was living hell, really. It was, and I try to be a better person each day of my life now. Um, I'm a I'm a good father. I'm a good band member now. I was I, I throughout my using the last 10 years, prior to my 2 years and 79 days, um, I was 50% or less, and it states that in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. We're only operating that when at our tops, when we were under the influence. If I'm not under the influence for that day until later that night, I'm still only operating 50%. Now I operate on 100%, and I care about family so much. I care about music so much. I care about the guys in the blues watch. I care about the guys in KIX too. I care about my friends. It's because I was really self-centered when I was just drinking and using. So, yeah, I just it was all about me, and that's not that's not the person I want to be today. I don't want to, and I have to. I go to my meetings. I call my sponsor. I have 2 of them. I have a therapist. I have to do all these things, maintenance, and it's um, to um, not get all up in my. It all starts up, and we call it the commit of idiots in our brain, and they tell us kinds of tell me all kinds of stuff that's not true. And I was on the phone with my sponsor right before I got on here. I had a couple things going on I needed to talk about. And by the time I'm off the phone, I forgot what I called him about, and I'm laughing, and it just changes my vision and my perspective. And or uh, if I pick up the car and I start working on stuff, it changes my thinking. So for me, is not to pick up that first drink or drug. That first drink or drug might not get landed in jail that night, but it's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen in 2 weeks, it will happen within 2 to 3 months. I will end up in jail again and or dead. That's the 2 ways out. Dead or jail or dead. I know that. And it's serious business. And I was trying to help a young man today. I'll call him again today. He's going through struggling. And I told him, I said, do not want to end like me at 64 years old when I was in Right Turn Impact Rehabilitation Center, locked down for 6 months. And I'm grateful they locked me. I thank the judge for locking me in.
Hmm.
That's what I need. And that's when I could not leave. Band started playing after the COVID thing. And that's when Bob Perry place. I couldn't even leave the place. I couldn't go out of state. I'm allowed to go out of state now. Um, and as long as I don't pick up the first drink or drug, my life gets, and I know that. And I will share that with anybody who would wants to know the horrors of addiction and alcoholism. And I'm here to help because it helps me. And I'm just grateful that I'm talking with you now. I really am. There was a period where I thought I was going to jail for 10 years. There was a period where I could not talk to my son or daughter or my wife for 5 months. I lost my job in the KIX. Um, the Blues Vultures, God bless them. They were here when I got out and ready to go. And yeah, so I mean, it's all about first thing on my list every day is to stay sober and clean, and then to uh, be a better person that day. I work the steps of the AA program. So every day I try to take a look at what I do better. At the end of the night, it's called the 10th step. It's personal inventory. And I try to take a look at what I need to do better the next day. And so it keeps me going. I'm just lucky.
Those are good goals and good motivation. Addiction doesn't discriminate. Doesn't matter if you're a rock star, if you're rich, if you're poor. It is a disease, and it's a hard one to shake. Like you said, 20 years of sobriety.
Yeah,
It's something as simple as a prescription medicine that all of a sudden can bring you back. And so it's good that you talk about it, and that you talk about it so other people can hear it. I've had so many people on this show talk about the program or their sobriety and motivated others. Some people, Mark Kendall from the band Great White, after every show, he's back in his room on the phone talking to people who might be struggling or not, but he's it's part of his life. Other people as well. It takes a big person to admit that they've had a struggle and that it's human and that it can happen to them. And so, 2 years, 79 days, and counting is a
yeah,
great thing. You have things to look forward to, and how great that you're able to keep your family, because a lot of people in your situation would have been torn from them.
absolutely. I thank God every night, every day that I'm on this property. I just moved back here in November. I could not even set foot in the town of Middletown, Maryland, where I live for a long time. And I'm grateful that I thank God every day that I'm here on this property. My camera keeps moving. I'm sorry. I thought I had set up right. But yeah, I mean, I don't take any of it for granted. And I mentioned before. I said I was lucky. I don't believe in luck. In I believe in doing the next right thing, and I believe that yeah, we can help other people. Like you were talking about Mark Kendall. I know Mark, and he actually called me a few times, and I appreciated that. And this was
Yeah,
about 5 years ago when I was struggling, and yeah, we played a lot of shows with guys, great guys, great
yeah.
great guitar player.
Yeah, absolutely. And those guys offer inspiring stories. I talk a lot about people who become sober. It can be difficult to do these cruises and these tours and these trips, and it's a lot. Sitting in airports for countless amount of hours. Some people have to walk away because having that much time to yourself sometimes can be dangerous to people.
That is true, to a degree. Once I was caught up in the grips of, then I would, yeah, I would be looking for something, usually alcohol on the road. I wouldn't fool with the drugs, uh, but I would knew I had a show to do, so I was just kind of maintaining my addiction, and it for me. you know, it's not the lifestyle, because I truly believe, and I talked to my sponsor about that. Just me waking up in the morning and breathing was a trick for me. It wasn't the lifestyle like it for uh, some people. It's stereotype sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Well, it's not anymore.
Mhm.
Uh, at least for the band, the KIX band, and or the Blues Vultures. I brought that stuff in. Like, my addiction is in me, and I brought it to the band, and I was under the grips of, and I would maintenance my, like, it got too bad. There was times where I had shakes in the morning. I'd have to have a drink, and I knew I had a show at night, and but I had to have to get a drink just so I could function. That's terrible, and it wasn't the lifestyle. Like, I like I like being at the airport. I would pull my guitar out at the airports and practice, or I would listen to music, and it's not like, for me, like being around the drinking, and if there was anything going on, I wouldn't partake because I knew that it would go right back to the band. Somebody would say something. So I never got involved with anything that was going on around me. I was like a closet drinker, or that kind of, because I didn't, I really, for me, and I'm honestly saying, uh, the best of my feelings in my mind, that I would bring it into situations, and it wasn't any kind of peer pressure or any kind of um, anyone else that would. I put the bottle to my, I put the needle in my arm, I put the joint in my mouth. That's the way I look at it, and it's all. I take full responsibility for anything that I did, and I'm just trying to be a living amendment now. You know, that's my goal.
Yeah, that's a good goal to have. Let's
Thank
talk a little bit. You mentioned a little bit about Blues Vultures, working on music. This has been a project of yours for quite some time now, and going to have new music coming soon. If you in the links in the description, we'll have links to Blues Vultures social media. People can listen to some music as well. We're looking at the logo right now.
you. Yes, I started the band when I moved back from Los Angeles, the year 2000 or 2001. Um, with two of the guys that aren't in the band anymore, but they were a big part of the band, Aaron and Zach, bass player and drummer. However, Rich, the guitarist, who started playing guitar with us, we were three-piece at first. He started playing with us about a year or so after we started. He's still with me. He's like the next guy in the band, and he does a lot for the group. Like, he sent me all these links to give to you, and he's good with the social media. Not, I be in front of my, or with a guitar, or and in front of the recording machine, but or with my kids. I'm a social media guy, and maybe it's not a good thing, but in a way, then I focus on other things. But Rich is good at that. And he's a great guitar player. I love working with him, and he's um, he's a natural born musician. I mean, he picks stuff up so quick. And so yeah, Rich is playing with me for over 20 years. Different drummer and player now. Joe's our drummer now, and then Clifford Moore's our bass player. Clifford's going through medical issues right now, so we've had our previous bass player Dylan playing bass with us for some shows, and I'm praying for Clifford. I talked with him the other night. Um, we're to the point now where we need the bass on the record, and I'm doing a lot of guitar stuff now, and so is Rich. So um, still a little bit of window of time for the bass lines. I put bass on the songs just so we can see what they sound like. But Clifford, unfortunately, I've known. Unfortunately, he's going through serious medical issues, and so I pray for him every day. I talk with him the other day, and the door is open anytime. that he can come back and play. But at some point, we're going to have to get the bass on the record. So I didn't even talk to him about it today because he's sick. Um, so I just want to talk to him as a friend because
Right.
I've known him since the KIX band would play in the '80s. Clifford's probably 10 years younger than me. I met him when he was 18. I was probably 28 years old at the time. So I've known him all my life. Played together off and on. We played together out in California when he lived with Brian. He was a guitar tech for the KIX band for a while. He's like a brother. He's like a younger brother. I love the guy. Great guitar player, and he's a smooth bass. And yeah, so that's going on. We're working on the CD, and I'm we're working with a brother to the guy I work with down at Victor Litt's, the music store in Gaithersburg, Maryland, where I give lessons, work on guitars, and a family runs the business. Youngest brother is recording a record, great keyboard player and vocalist, sax player, guitar player, plays everything like all the brothers do. But I love working with Austin. His name's Austin Litt, and so we're putting this thing together, and really I love doing it. I just can't wait to every day when I get to go back in the studio. I don't go in every day, do homework for it, but twice a week, spend quite a few hours working on stuff. So, because plus he goes out. So that's in a summary what the Blues Vultures are doing. And once um, we haven't played that much because I wanted to focus on the songs, and because I pour my heart and soul into everything. And when we play live, I pour my heart and soul into it, and I tend to focus on the live show day before the show. And yeah, I'll work on the new songs, but I can't just go into that world. So we didn't play for like 4 months, January, February, March, April. Um, I just focus on these songs and working on the CD. So we got a lot done.
Yeah.
Still,
People were excited to see you though in your hometown for the M3 show. It'd been a little while since you had been there, and so I know that that went over well in his videos of that too.
yeah, that was awesome because we got to play for people we usually don't get to play for
Mhm.
because we don't sound like a lot of the band, more roots rock and roll. Um, I'm a big Stones fan and like Black Crowes, roots rock and roll kind of thing. This album has a little bit of edge to it with the flair of I've I don't know why, but I've just been falling back into like 1972, a lot of the glitter rock bands, like
Mhm.
because they have that extra edge to their sound, that thing with like Slade, um, even Queen. I'm early Alice Cooper, a big Alice Cooper fan. So that little bit of that coming through on these songs, but the roots are still there, like the Stones roots, that kind of thing. Yeah. So, but I appreciate you talking about the band because it's my passion, and I love these guys. I love playing with Blues Vultures. And, yeah, we're looking forward to getting this CD done. I hope to have it out by the end of the year.
Mhm.
I diligently work on it until it's ready, and getting there.
Yeah, well, I'd love to have you back when the record's out so we can
Thank
promote
you.
it and make sure people check it out. You know, when September comes and it's the final show for KIX, there'll always be interest in the KIX members and the other things that they're doing.
Yeah,
And as we said, you'll be active with new music and getting back to traveling and doing things the way that you like doing so much.
yeah, I absolutely. And the only way to do it is sober and clean, and with love in my heart for everybody. Of course, my passion for music, and I am grateful have been asked to perform with the band, and it means a lot to me. and looking forward to seeing everybody at that show. And the Blues Vultures have a show June 9th at a place called the Racehorse Tavern, and then we're doing a show with a bunch of bands called one of the groups from New York. We've done shows with Street Circus. It's called Rock Me, Don't Shake Me. It's in Hagerstown, Maryland. So it should be a good time. But that's what's coming up. And I was grateful to get to the with the Blues Vultures the party. Like I said, we got to play it from a lot of people that have never seen us before. So it's a great thing, and I'm grateful. And I enjoyed talking with you today. It was great.
Yeah, I'm so glad. We went back and forth for a little while, and your band speaks highly of you. Obviously, they love you. Talking to Brian and Steve, and when I talked to Steve, you were still not able to leave the house. So it was everything was. It wasn't the time. No one knew what the future held. So to see you now and to hear you speak clearly. And you're a big person to say, some people would be angry. Well, someone else is filling in my spot, but you owned up to your issues.
Absolutely. I'm grateful Bob was ready to step up to bat because I could not go to bat. I was locked down. I was sick, and I needed to do what was right. And he did what was right up to bat. And I just talked to Bob yesterday. He's texted me throughout this whole thing. He's a great guy, great guitar player, good musician all around, good person. And I appreciate Bob a lot, really do. We'll be playing together on stage. I'm actually going to go work on the songs with him because Brian lives down in Nashville. Figure out it'll be 3 guitar players playing at once. So we're going to work out some guitar parts.
Yeah.
Bob doesn't live too far from me, so I'm going to work with him on the songs.
That's good. And something to look forward to, and maybe a good closure to a 40+ year career. There's some tickets available in the lawn, but it will sell out. People are so excited. I think maybe more than anyone expected that the hype. People ran out to buy those tickets, playing a pretty large venue in Maryland.
Yes, it's an honor to play there, and it's an honor to get on stage with Steve and Brian and Jimmy and Mark, and of course Bob. It really is. I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Ronnie, again so much for being here. Like I said, you come back when the record is out. We'll promote it. And continued success to you. And everyone can go to the links in the description and check out the Blues Vultures.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.